Hey guys, I'm going to be doing a Bluebook practice test, SAT practice test 8, and in the next video we'll do in-detailed explanations for all the questions. And this is just math, so I'm going to skip past these. All right, let's do it. Okay, y-intercept, x equals 0, y equals 8. X equals -8, plug this in, 24 plus 60 is 84. 70 minutes, okay, so x is the number of one, y is the number of 3, so x should be x plus 3y equals 70. 20 ounces, 1 ounce every 4 days. If 9 ounces remain, which means 11 ounces have been taken out. 11 ounces every 4 times 11, which is 44 days. Each of these dots, okay, standard deviation is basically how far apart things are relative to the mean. So do you have everything bunched up together or do you have everything spread apart? And the crucial detail here is that both of these seem to have the same distribution, but just shifted over. So one goes to 14. So the standard deviation should be equal. Okay. Which is equivalent. So it's x cubed plus 10x. Distribute. The measure of, okay, so sum to 180, so C has to be 36, and 36 equals K over 2, so 72. What's one of the solutions? Well, a bunch of things multiply to 0, so x equals 0, 4, or -5. So 0. Water and acetic acid, 10 milliliters. What is the volume? Wait, what? Okay, it seems like it's literally just 56 minus 10. 46. Okay, 354 furlongs equal to how many feet? So 354 furlongs equals 354 times 220, and then that times 3. So it's going to be roughly 35, it's going to be roughly 70K times 3, which is 210K. Let's just estimate. These seem pretty relative. At how many points do they intersect? Okay, so these two have the same slope, but they're not the same line, so it's not going to intersect. They're going to be parallel. 13 is p% of 25, so it should be 56% of 25, or sorry, 52. 13 times 4. This function, how many times does it take for it to double? So when t equals 0, this is going to be 60,000. So we need this to be 60,000 times 2, which is 2 to the 1. So this has to be 410. Each year the value increases by this. Okay, so it's increasing, and it's increasing by a multiple every time, so it's increasing exponential. A circle has diameter this. What's the equation of a circle? The value of r. So the r is the radius, and the endpoints are 10 apart, so the radius has to be 5. Okay, so it's a right angle. R and S are the sides. Sine R is root 15 over 4, but sine R is basically opposite over hypotenuse, and cosine S is the adjacent to S over hypotenuse, and the opposite of R is the same as the adjacent to S, so it's also root 15 over 4. 4j plus 9 in terms of p and k. So 4j plus 9, you can just like cross multiply. So it's equal to k over p. Which of these following tables okay, so basically y has to be pretty big when x, for any x. So 21, 26. I mean, this one seems like the y's are the biggest. 26, 42, 52. Yeah, so like these values are always bigger, so it just kind of has to be that, right? Line L is defined by this. Line N is perpendicular. What's the slope of line N? So if it's perpendicular, it's like the opposite negative reciprocal. So the slope of this is equal to, so this is basically y plus 4x equals 1.25. And that means y equals negative 4x. So the slope is negative 4, so this one has to be positive 1 over 4. And it should, okay. Desmos would be good to check for that, but we're going really quick. In the given equations, what's the equation? How many distinct x-intercepts does this have? So x-intercepts are basically roots, so when y equals 0. The distinct number of x-intercepts, so how many values of x does y equal 0? Well, x can equal d, or negative g, or d again, but that's the same x-intercept, so 3. F of 1 equals k. Which of these show the value of k as the coefficient or the base? Okay, these questions are sort of dumb, I think. It's kind of like just semantics. But basically, f of 1 equals k. So like if we plug in f of 1, if we plug in f of 1 to a, it's going to be like 50 times 1.6 squared. If we plug into like c, we get 128 times x 1.6 to the 0, which is 1. So k equals 128. So we just want like a case where k, which is 128 in this case, is actually in the equation. G of x equals f of x plus 5. For what value of x does g of x reach its minimum? Okay, so what value of x does g of x reach its minimum? So what value of x does, what is the minimum of this? The minimum of this happens at the vertex, which is negative b over 2a, but we can also just plug it into Desmos. Negative b is 64 over 8, which is negative 8. So the minimum happens at x equals negative 8. So at what value of x does g of x reach its minimum? Well, g of negative 13 is equal to f of negative 8, which is the minimum here. Okay, next module. Which equation does have the same solution? 4x equals 12, so x equals 3, or 4x equals 12. The total cost is this. What's the cost when the monthly payment is 400? So we plug in 400. 400 times 36 plus 1,000. That is 14400, 14400, 15400. Shifted down. Okay, so we shift it down. What's the y-intercept? Well, the y-intercept is going to be 5 down from what it was originally. What's the y-intercept in this one? It's when x equals 0. So y equals 297 over 33, which I believe is 9. So it should be 4. F of x, what's the y-intercept here? Y-intercept, x equals 0, negative 2. This graph, Okay, basically we're fitting one of these equations to this. So we know when x equals 0, y has to be 40. It's not this, it's not this. X equals 0, y has to be 40. So this is the only one that satisfies that. What's the value of 17 over 2x plus 18y? Okay, this is again something we can just Desmos really quickly. Let's just solve it normally though. So if we subtract, we get x equals 2. And if we, okay, x equals 2, that means 7 plus 6y equals 25, 25 minus 7, 18. So x equals 2, y equals 3. So we get 17 plus 54, 71. Which of these values represents -3? Okay, so our x values are -6, -5, and 4. And you can see that these are exactly the roots. So if y equals f of x minus 3, then you plug in these values, you should get 0 minus 3. -3. Again, pretty easy to Desmos, but I think understanding the roots makes it very quick. The value decreases by 45. Okay, so if q of 0 equals 14. So basically, if you plug in 0, all of these have to equal 14. When you plug in 0, these become 1, so it has to be like one of these, C or D. And it decreases 45%. Okay, so basically it has to go down when you plug in bigger values of x, and D, the x, it's gonna go up. And 45%, so it's like 0.55 is the remaining. Okay. Reach the ocean when x equals 0. If we graph it, it's probably going to look like, I don't know. Basically, okay, how many minutes after collecting the sample did it take for it to reach the ocean? So for it to reach the ocean, basically, like, g of x has to equal 0. And so I think it should just be 35. A cube has edge length. Solid sphere is inside, so that the sphere touches the center of each face of the cube. What's the volume of the cube minus the sphere? Okay, so it's going to be 68 cubed minus the volume of the sphere. So that's going to be 68 cubed minus 4/3 pi r cubed, 4 over 3 pi 34. 34 cubed. So whatever this is, 149796. Okay. What's the sum of the solutions to this? Let's just Desmos this. X plus 1. Or we could also like solve it from a quadratic, but that doesn't seem fun. Minus 56 equals 4x x minus 7. Okay, so it seems like the solutions are 2.667 and 7. So the sum is 9.6667. Okay. Okay, this one, these have to follow the inequality. We can just plug all of them in, but basically y has to be small. So this y seems small. This y seems even smaller than the other one. Let's just double check. I don't really want to double check. What is the diameter of this? Okay, so remember the radius is the square root of 16, so 4, so the diameter is 8. exactly one solution. What's the value of c? We can just sort of plug it into Desmos. I guess it's probably the quickest. Negative 9 x squared plus 30x plus, let's say 3 equals 0. This has 2, this has 2, it seems. This has 2. This seems to have 1, so it's got to be this. And, okay, angle y is a right angle. Angle z is 33, and yz is 26. The area is k tan 33. What is the value of k? Okay. Let's put this in. So we have this, y, z is 33, and yz is 26. Okay, so tan 33 equals opposite over hypotenuse, or opposite over adjacent, sorry. So like x over 26. And the area is equal to x times 26 over 2. So we want 26x over 2 equals 13x. Well, x equals 26 tan 33. So our answer is 13 times 26 tan 33. So we want 13 times 26, which is 169 times 2. 338. Okay, the regular price of a shirt is $11.70. The sale price is blah, blah, blah. What's the store's cost? Okay, so regular is $11.70. Sale price is 20% of that because it's 80% off. Times 0.2. So the sale price is 2.34. And the sale price is 30% greater than the store's cost. So store's cost is what we want. Let's say it's S. S times 1.3 equals 2.34. So 2.34 over 1.3. What is the store's cost? It's 1.8. 1.8. Okay, moving along. In these triangles, B and E have 27, C and F have 41. Okay, so we need something, not just the measure of angle, because then they could be similar. We need some length. We need, if we just know the angle of of side length AB, that doesn't seem to work. We need, because that doesn't say anything about the other one. So we want these two. Yeah. This, R is a constant. If the system has no solutions, what's the value of R? So if system has no solutions, that means our two have to be parallel. So 48x equals 102y. Basically 48, like, we have 48 x equals 102y. And then here we have ry equals negative 16x. ry equals negative 16x. Yeah, and then there's constants, but we don't really care about the constants. So basically this has to be proportional. So this is 102 over 3. This is like 3x. So 102 over 3 is 34. Okay. Which of the following has a factor of x plus 2b, where b is a... Okay, so x plus 2b. And then the other thing, we see all of these have 3x squared and then 14b. So we need this to be 3x, because otherwise we're not going to get 3x squared. We need this to be 7, because then we get the 14b. So then that becomes, what's the x term? It's 6bx plus 7x. Okay. Wait, what? Okay, which of these following has a factor of x plus 2b? B is an integer constant. Okay, so we have x plus 2b, and then we need 3. Okay, so we get 3x squared, we get a 14b. Positive integer constant. You get 6x plus 7, 6b plus 7. But what is b? Hold on, I'm kind of confused. This is true for all b's. Okay, so let's say b equals 1. Let's just assume b equals 1. So we need it to have a factor of x plus 2. Which of these has a factor of x plus 2? B equals 1. X plus 2. Let's just get rid of this. This is 1. So we have 3x squared plus 6x plus 13x. 3x squared plus 6x, 13x plus 14. Like, this will be correct. I am kind of confused. Like, doesn't this depend on what the value of b is? B is a positive integer. Like, if x equals 2, then oh, I see. It just has to be true for some integer? Wait, what? Okay, let's just say, okay, I see. That is a weird way to phrase the question. So it's basically saying this is the x coefficient, like 6b plus 7 has to be some integer, like one of these values. So 6b plus 7, it can't be 7, like 6b, that has to be our x term. So it has to be like 1 mod 6. It can't be 7 though, because it says b is a positive integer constant. So it has to be this. Okay, the perimeter is this, the height is this. Okay. 624, so what's that divided by 3? It's 208. 208. That means this is 104. That means this is 104 root 3. Okay, 2 more. Let's finish this off. 2 data sets. For each of the histograms, the first represents the frequency less than 10 or greater than or equal to 10 but less than 20. Okay. What's the smallest possible difference between the mean and the mean? Okay, so let's take a look at these. So there's like, there's 23 integers, so we care about like the 12th. So the 12th integer is going to be somewhere in this range, the 40 to 50 range here. And in data set B, there's 3, there's 5, there's 7, and there's 9. Oh, 3, 4, 7, 9. Okay, so this one, say data set B is going to be between 30 and 40. Data set A is going to be between 40 and 50. So we want this data set A1 to be small. So let's just say it's 40 because it can be greater than or equal to 40 but less than 50. So it can be 40 and this one can be 39 and they're integers, so it has to be at least one. And total of this. Okay, so this is just, okay, by how many votes? So Angel Cruz won by 63 votes out of 803. So what's the proportion of that? 6424 over 803 times 163. Proportionally, he'd win by 1304, or she would win by 1304. Okay, done. Let's review. If you have questions about these, again, we're gonna go over these more in depth. Let's view our score. Ooh, okay. We got a 790. So let's take a look. That is annoying. Oh, okay. Okay, I guess, whoops. We probably made a sign error on this. Well, that's unfortunate, but it happens. Watch this video for more in-depth explanations for all the questions.